Hallelujah. All right. As you see, I want to discuss the power of the tongue. This is a topic for me as well that myself personally want to continue to grow on. Got a lot of growing to do on that end. And understand that we know that this tongue of ours does contain power. And how we use it is going to determine a lot of things. I praise the Most High for His grace and His mercy, and that we may continue to edify and encourage one another to deal with our tongue. All right. I want to start off. We have in the power of the tongue, which is the fruit. Which fruit is being manifested, life or death? That's our choices right there. Which fruit you're going to manifest with your tongue? You're going to bring forth life or you're going to bring forth death? So we're going to start out with Matthew chapter 12, verses 36 and 37. Matthew 12, 36 and 37.
Verse 36. But if I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
That's power against self. Either you're going to be justified or you're going to be condemned out of every word. That's why I said we want to make sure that everything we speaking, just know it's being recorded. You have to give an account for it. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 18, verse 20 and 21.
Verse 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Exactly. You're going to eat the fruit thereof, and we know the power, again, of this tongue presented death and life. Let's move on to the manifestation of death by the tongue. And our Heavenly Father cares deeply about our words and how we choose to use those words. And we recognize, as we see here in Matthew 12, and we read that we can be justified or condemned by them. We're going to pick it up in Ephesians 5, verses 3 through 7.
Verse 3. For fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not even be named among you, as it is fitting for saints, neither filthiness, nor foolishness, talking, nor coarse gesturing, which are not fitting, but rather giving of thanks.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. That foolish talking or coarse jesting. King James say coarse jesting, and King James say jesting. That word coarse jesting is, as we recognize, is joking, saying things of a rude behavior. I used to laugh at comedians. We do it all the time. Like we used to have called mama jokes and all those things there. You used to say scoring on people. You used to say playing the dozens, or however they want to use that term. You know, your mama sold this, or we talk about one another. Those are coarse gestures right there. Trying to make people laugh by doing ill humor. You see a lot of well-known comedians do that today. And understanding that when you keep reading this here, these very things, you practicing these things can cause you not to make the kingdom of Yah. Next verse 5.
For this which are not fitting, for this you know, that no fornicator, unclean person, or covetous man, who is an idolater, has any inheritance in the kingdom of Yahshua and Yahuwah. Let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of these things the wrath of Elohim comes upon the sons of the disobedience. Therefore, do not be partakers with them.
So again, don't be partakers of it. He said, they don't want to deceive you with these empty words. Because this is the very reason the wrath of Yah is coming upon the children of disobedience. These are the very things that can cause you not to make it to the kingdom. And Satan is clever. He's going to make these things as he do, going to make it pleasurable. Make it entertaining. And fulfill those fleshly desires. But as we see, there's nothing to be joking about these things here. Let's look at a similar thing dealing with coarse jesting. We're on to Proverbs chapter.
The piercing of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health.
Hallelujah. Again, there is that of a piercing of a sword. But we know the tongue of the wise is health. And we're going to talk about that later on, about the power of words that bring forth life and understanding those effects and those powers, because how we created and so forth. But again, we want to see here that piercing and words can be like a sharp sword piercing through, cutting that individual up. Let's look at Psalms 12. We'll read verses 3 and 4. Psalm chapter 12, verses 3 and 4.
Or verse 3. Yahuwah shall cut off the flattery lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things, who have said, with our tongue will he prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Yahuwah over us? Who is Lord over us?
So wow, we talking about boasting here, right? We got many that we understand that saying, with our tongue will we prevail. Now you know, with our lips, it's that they are our own. Speaking the things of men, and these belong to me. That type of attitude, you're looking straight for death. But that's what's being promoted. That's how you see this world, how they try to implement things on how you should be. It's all about you. You always right. You your own. Do what's best for you. You can have straight traps. Look at Proverbs 10, verse 19. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19.
Verse 19. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips is wise.
Again, you see, with much speaking, much speaking, much speaking, you start hearing gossip, you start hearing a lot of things, you start hearing the multitude of words, sin is going to come out. It's going to come out. And we want to be bold towards the Most High. But certain things, we don't want to do a bunch of idle talking. We don't want to be what they call just talking about a bunch of vain things, because we know sin going to abound when those things happen. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Ecclesiastes 5:3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 3. For a dream cometh through much activity, and a fool's voice is known by his many words.
Yeah. It's known by his many words, right? That speech, the more, you're going to start hearing those very things. Because he's speaking his own words, doing his own thing. You're going to hear a bunch of other things, profanity. You're going to hear a bunch of other things come out. Hey, that's what scriptures say. And they know, speaking like a fool, we call foolish talking. Matthew 5, verse 37.
Verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh out evil.
Again, just want to see how it all line up where we want our words to be pure words, and we understand, keep things simple. We'll need to keep going on and on and on, our own thought, because again, sin lies. Like you say, evil will come. And these very things, like you said, the manifestation of death by the tongue, we want to always edify, we want to always build up. Turn down will never, ever be approved by the Most High. We always want to minister, we want to relay on grace to the hearers. Grace to the hearers. We always got to look at our own selves. Let's look at the manifestation of life by the tongue. What we should be doing with this tongue. And seeing the two ends, but then we want to see later on, how can we perform what the Most High wants us to perform. Manifestation of life by the tongue. Go to Psalms chapter 12, verse 6 and 7. Psalms 12, verse 6 and 7.
Verse 6. The words of Yahuwah are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Yah. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever.
And that's how we know we can trust in His word. He said Himself, He's going to preserve His word from generation to generation. That's why we have Bibles today, right? That's why we have, because He preserved His word from generation to generation. It's been tried like silver in a furnace. His word going to stand, even if people want to mock it, if people want to lose faith in it, whatever goes on, His word is going to continue, no matter what situation out this world seeing. He will endure forever. Let's move on to the manifestation of life by the tongue. Let's look at 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 11. This is how we're going to continue to be where we produce life with our tongue. 1 Peter 4, verse 11.
Verse 11. If any man speaketh, let him speak the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which Elohim giveth, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua Mashiach, whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Again, hallelujah. Let it be the oracles of Yah. And He said, not your own, because He said, if it be the oracles of Yah, that who may be glorified? He said that the things may be glorified through Yeshua, because we recognize He's the word of Yah. When we saw it doing our own, those are very things that, as we recognize with Peter, when he tried to rebuke the word, we recognize that that wasn't of Yah, that was of Satan, of Satan. So for Him to be glorified, we have to speak His words. For anyone else to be glorified, you got to speak their words. So He said, if anyone speak, let it be the oracles of Elohim. And what are those oracles? If we go to Acts chapter 7, verse 38 and 39. Let's talk about this word, these oracles.
Verse 37. Verse 38.
Listen, 38.
This is he, Moses, that was in the church in the wilderness with the angels that which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us.
Okay, that's not, he said to give the lively oracles, right? And you know, these oracles, the very word of Elohim is living. It's not dead. This book is actually living. There's things that not even been fulfilled yet. Even though we're reading about it, we know it's going to come to pass. This word is living. So that's why we can stand on it. So he said the lively oracles. And for that, continue to stand, and we want to speak those things as of him, because that's how, again, we bring forth life with this tongue. Contrary to him, you're looking at death. Next verse on that.
Verse 39, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrashing him from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt.
Again, they want to follow the ways. They want to keep the oracles of Elohim. They want to go back to that way of Egypt, fulfilling these fleshly desires, looking for death, not life. We look at Romans 3, verses 1 and 2. It's talking about the oracles of Elohim. Romans 3, verse 1 and 2.
Verse 1, what advantage then has the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Elohim.
So the oracles is the law of Yah, the commands of Yah. Those are those oracles. As any man speak, let it be the oracles of Elohim. Let it be his word. That who? That Yeshua may be glorified. And then that's where you rightly divide. So we recognize that in Matthew 4, we know even Satan quoted scripture. Just because you quote scripture, we're not saying that, hey, I mean, that person there is of Yah. But we do recognize that when we rightly divide his word, as Brother Mike touched on last week, we can recognize the things that Yah has approved, or things that's not it right there. Because again, it all have to line up. Same spirit that spoke to Isaiah, spoke to Jeremiah, spoke in Matthew, spoke in Shual, Paul, that same spirit. Not going to tell me one thing and then going to tell this another thing. It's the same spirit. All line up, because like I'm saying, he's not the author of confusion. We've got to seek it out. We got to keep searching. But like I'm saying, these very lively oracles, it have to be what? It have to be the word of Yah. As we all can agree in this room now. If someone starts saying about a star tech, Easter, we can all just like, I don't know. That's not a command of Yah. We know that came from the world. And we see the traditions behind it. So if someone come in and want to say, well, now this is this and this is that, well, we can prove it by the word that it's not. And that's going to have to be our basis. We're going to have to stand on it. Because if not, then we're going to follow the ways of this world. And we're going to be partakers of it, which we do not want to be partakers of. That was it on that Romans 3?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. See some of the manifestation of life by the tongue.
Verse 29, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
Again, that's what it's all about. No corrupting, because there's nothing corrupt in the Messiah. So when we start saying things that's of corrupt nature, we start saying things that's corrupt. Now we actually going against the Messiah. That's why I said, if any man speak, let it be the oracles of Yah. Let it be, because there's nothing corrupt in him. And he want to minister grace to the hearers. Now, not necessarily every time that's going to be, we call pleasant. We know it's necessary. Because we understand these times people going to have itchy ears. They're going to want to hear things that they want to hear. But there's nothing new as time before they said they want to hear smooth things. Certain things going to may convict you, you have to adjust to, but you can guarantee it's the oracles of Yah. That's our measuring rod. word of Yah is our measuring rod. That's how we dictate on what's not of him, what is of him. Because even when the time the Messiah walked this earth, they was, you can read it in John chapter 9, the one that was born blind, they said, we know that Yah spoke to Moses. But from this fellow, we don't know where he came from. And what they said was absolutely true. Yah did speak to Moses. And the reason why he even told Moses, come up, but now that they'll know that I spoke to you, that the things that what you say is coming from me. So now we know that the thing what Moses wrote, that's actually the word of Yah. But we won't be confused like someone say, well, no, I heard from Yah. In this religion called Islam. Say, well, I heard from Yah. This angel came, Gabriel, and told me the things of, or you see Joseph Smith, I heard from Yah. All these people say they heard from Yah, but we have a measuring rod. Well, okay, if you say you heard from Yah, then it's not going to go contrary to the very word of Yah. That's our measuring rod right there. Because anybody can say they heard from Yah. And now, how do you measure that? So when they told him, we know that Yah spoke to Moses. That's the measuring rod. And then in John 5, that's why the Messiah said, Moses wrote about me. But since you believe his writing, how you going to believe my words? Understanding the measuring rod right there. So we don't want no corrupt communication proceed out of our mouth. Because for us now, we're supposed to be lights in this world. We moving on towards perfection, as it says in Hebrews chapter 6. We want to put away, that old man, steady slicing him up, steady mortifying, steady growing, not coming back to the things of repentance. Let's still look at the manifestation of life by the tongue. Look at Proverbs 15. Because situations are going to come. How do you handle those situations?
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but a grievous word stir up anger.
Now, has anybody tried that before? Hey, somebody coming running at you. And you say, I'm sorry. I didn't. You're going to see that round. But when you try to add fuel to that fire, when you come back, when they coming at you, and you come back, and you start sitting like they sitting and all that stuff there, how they look? That's not going to work out right there. That's not going to work out. I give like I call the camel look. If they nigga camel, they always eating something. So they jaw is moving while they talking to you. Hey, it's just what it's going to be. So a soft answer does, but it turn away wrath. Verse 2.
The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness. Verse 3.
So we recognize that as well. We don't want to continue in folly. We don't want to pour out foolishness. We don't want to be as a fool. We want to recognize using wisdom, discretion. Because wow, we had a very lively oracles of Yah. A lot of things want to upset you. Not saying you're not going to get angry. We recognize what though? So be angry, but do what? Sin not. Right? And we want to keep practicing how we can control his tongue. Next verse on that.
Verse 3. The eyes of Yahuwah are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach of the spirit. A breach in the spirit.
It's a breach in the spirit, right? Again, like you're saying, it cuts someone up. It cuts them up. But wholesome words, it sounds like a tree of life. It brings joy. That's why we use it. We encourage, right? Even you see your little child, right? They draw something, and you know about, you think when little Kennedy Jr. come up and he get a little crayon and he start doing what he do and he bring it to me. I mean, what is this garbage? No, that's not how you don't do things in that. Man, what is this you did? Man, throw that in the trash, man. That ain't about. No, we don't do that. Right? We know that. Oh man, good job, man. What is it? May look like some, but we know what? We encourage. We try to build up. I mean, this is nice and this is awesome. Keep it up. And that little smile gonna come. But watch it, you just say, oh man, this is horrible, this is pitiful. Come on. Now, look, watch it. See how that face reacts on that. We don't want to tear it down, right? We want to what they say, breach that spirit. Keep that mindset. Let's look at Revelation 14. Now let's talk about, again, the life with the tongue. Look at our examples. Because again, this tongue is powerful. It can bring forth death or it can bring forth life. That's our choice. And again, we've got to stand on the very oracles of Yah. If it's not of Yah, we don't want any parts of it. No matter how sweet it may sound, no matter how enticing it may be, we don't want any parts of it. Because we know that our enemy, and let's show the power and how we have to stand, took a third of the angels with him. A third. We're no match for Hasatan. If he took a third of the angels who's already in the presence of Yah, he was able to take a third of them. Where'd that leave us? Who's what? Who's of this earth? Who's not even from where? From there. He was in the presence. They was in the presence. So we know that we have to stand and understand these lively oracles and stand with them, because if we go to the left or to the right, we are in trouble. So that's why I say, no matter who, mother, father, children, spouse, whoever it is, if you put them over me, he said, you're not worthy of me. Because them very ones can easily cause you to go against me. We see it many times. Next verse in that. We're looking at Revelation 14. Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads.
Now we know that 144,000, we have debate on who they are, and but we're just looking at the characteristics of them. All right. So they have the Father's name written in their foreheads. So I'm going to say spiritually, their way of thought. Literally, as we see, as the priest, the high priest, they wore the diadem on their head, which had his Father's name on all the high priests. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard a voice of harps, harping with their harps. And they sung a song, as it were a new song, before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
Man, and this again, we know these are from the earth. So these are not angels right here. And we recognize that this example here is, we recognize that these 12,000 from the tribes of Israel, characteristics that I want us to see that we should model as well. Because, hey, we don't know to be part of that. But we want to recognize that for these characteristics of them, making sure that we model that same behavior. Next verse.
Verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth.
Okay, so it says these were not defiled with women. And we know Revelation symbolically, the women represent that beast system and also to represent, say, in assemblies. Right? And you recognize that, say, these wasn't defiled by them. Not saying that they never got married, that they said they was virgins. It was saying that they was what? They was pure, they was undefiled. Because why? They followed the Lamb whithersoever he went. Wherever the Lamb goes, it's kind of like this guy, he made a perfect example, and I liked it, where he put a lot of people up, and he made an example like, you're looking at your son following the dad. And I can relate to it, especially in that sports world, when you go to an event where countless people just packed. And he just going. He had like the son just following. No matter what, they trying to find the seats. He going, bumping. Son just right there. No matter where the father went, the son just followed. No, hey, the daddy lost and where that son is right. Hey, no matter where the daddy went, the son just followed. That's how we should be with this. No matter what situation it is, they follow. They go to the. If these other people want to go this way, where the Savior goes. I'm going this way. You gotta have a mindset. So we see that's what their mindset was. Wherever the Lamb went, they follow. Next verse. Continue that.
Verse 4. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits of Elohim into the land. Verse 5. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Yahweh.
Wow, it's saying their mouth was found no guile. How is that? We recognize because they followed the word. They spoke only what the word spoke. They stood on what was written. When found no guile. It's the model. That's the behavior we should all have as well. It says, in their mouth is found no guile. So they learned something about this tongue. So we're going to get about this tongue and how to know the power of death and life is what? Is in this tongue. And we want to be those ones that are able to have, we can say, no guile was found in their mouth. Moving on to the next. The manifestation of life by his tongue. Let's look at one of his apostles that we can relate to. John chapter 1, look at verse 46 and 47. John chapter 1, verses 46 and 47.
Verse 46. And Nathanael said unto them, Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth?
And we know Nazareth wasn't Jerusalem. Nazareth what we would call the hood, the ghetto or whatnot, right? It wasn't a place that was so admirable. So Daniel, Philip came to him, and can anything good come from Nazareth? Right? Some of your roughest parts of the city or whatnot, yes, man, hey, can anything good come from there? So that's their mindset. Okay?
Philip said unto him, Come and see. And Yeshua saw Nathanael coming to him, and said unto him, Behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile.
Wow. See, that's what we want as well. An Israelite indeed. Right? Everybody want to be Israel. Well, this is how you be Israel right here. The Messiah, they know this is Israelite indeed. Have no guile. No deceit. There's no guile in them. That's why I say that's an Israelite indeed. Psalm 34, verses 12 and 13.
Verse 12. What man is he that desire life, and loveth many days, that he may see good?
So that's a good, who don't want that, right? So what man is there that desire life? We desire life. Love in many days, that he may see good. And he tell you, this is how you can accomplish that. Verse 13.
Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking gall.
Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking gall. This is what Peter, we're about to read the next, this is what Peter was quoting. Here we go to 1 Peter chapter 3 now, read verses 8 and 10. We just read it, this is what he was quoting. He was quoting the psalmist on the same topic.
Verse 8. Finally, be you all of one mind, having compassion for one another, loving as brethren. Be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. Verse 10. For he that will love life and see a good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile.
So again, Peter's standing on what's really standing on the word of Yah. Understand that what's true then is going to be true what? Now. You keep your lips from evil. Speak no guile. You're going to see life. And the only reason you're not speaking guile because apparently you're seeking the very oracles of Yah. You letting your words match up with what's written here. So you bringing glory to who? To our Savior, Yeshua. You ministering grace to the ears. And again, necessarily not always going to be what people want to hear, but it's what's needful. The children may always want sweets all the time, right? Occasionally, hey, you probably do too. But we know that in the long run, it's not going to be beneficial for us. They may not want it, but you know, hey, that chlorophyll got to get introduced, right? You got to get something that kind of, help this right here because we want things beneficial. They may cry and whine, and I don't want any. No, I don't. Just give me that cupcake over there. I don't want any lettuce. I don't want any lettuce. Right? And like, I can eat this all day long. But that, I usually just add, can I just get one more bite? Just one more bite. But I didn't ask for no one more bite. When they were eating that cake, I always wanted more. So we understand that we stand on this word, let our light shine, but also knowing that when you are speaking this word, when you know you standing on what's written, and when you're going against the grain, you got to be hard-headed towards it. You got to be hard-headed. Don't give in. Everybody else that's why he told them. So he told Ezekiel the same thing. Hey, you got to have an Adam stone. Hey, I'm going to make your head Adam stone. You got to go against some rebellious people. You got to go against some traditions. You got to start tearing down some strongholds. And we talking about what's way before you. So this ain't like a little thing you just started, right? You ain't the first one when you had to go against and start saying about Shabbat. Even though we know Shabbat was here on the seventh day of creation. Hey, we know the strongholds that come with when you're coming out on that first day of the week. You want to go up an uphill battle? When you start talking about what people should not eat, you know not to talk about somebody's food. No, you got me off, man. I was with you to the end, man. You start telling people you got to leave grandmama pork chops alone. You'll see how, hey, man, I don't No, because you tripping now. You gotta make the greens. You gotta put the, we gotta put that pork up in there, get that flavor, And you're gonna see. But you stand on the very oracles of Elohim. No matter what goes on around you, you stand. And remember, speak no guile. Because you want to stand on what's ready. Where we at right there, Brother Mike?
We finished. We started Proverbs chapter 12.
All right. Look at Proverbs 12. And look at verse 14 and 19. We still talking about the manifestation of life by the tongue. We want our tongue to be used for life, not for death.
Verse 14. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hand shall be rendered unto him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto the counsel is wise.
Let's start on 15. Discuss that more. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. I got to throw everything up. I used to justify everything because in my own eyes, I don't care what it was, I was right. You can make yourself right by anything. You can cut out somebody. Somebody cut you out. Somebody you go, you cut them out. I got somebody who got that different. I see you justified cheating on their spouse. Oh man, you gotta know, man. Hey, I didn't get married for this. I got married for, hey, it's not happening. It's not, hey, I seen it. This flesh is wicked. It justifies anything. It tell you that the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. See, when you stand on the very oracles of Elohim, again, you bring grace, you bring glory unto Yeshua. But when you go outside of that, you haven't find our very enemy now. You see the things of men. You're going contrary to Yeshua. I want to make it plain. When you go outside of that, you're speaking the very thing goes against. And that's serious. Next verse.
Verse 16. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. Verse 18. There is that speaketh like the piercing of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health.
Again, we talked about that earlier. Certain words can cut you up, where we're talking about bringing someone down. You see a lot of this cyberbullying. Sad, a lot of these teenagers are taking their own lives because what people are writing on social media about them. Words are powerful. And they themselves feel like, well, this person here said this about me. And I understand that person there, what they saying about you is not true. They not the source. What did the Messiah say about you? How much he loved you. But they taking heed to what this world think about them, and what this individual. And next thing you know, they take their own life. And words are piercing, like a piercing sword. That's verse. I'm sorry, one thing when he said, but the tongue of the wise is what? It's hell. See, you lift people up. We're going to go in more detail later on, but we recognize that good words, encouraging words is always beneficial. It's always beneficial. I even seen some of the guys trying to be the thuggish, buggish bone type one of you guys. I have seen with the edification, they like to be encouraged as well. On good things, not evil things. They got to do their boasting to make themselves feel good. Next verse.
Verse 19. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment.
It's only for a moment. See, the truth going to be established forever. It's going to be established forever. Let's get to what we are familiar with in the book of James 3. Let's read about the tongue. Because again, we want our tongue to be for life, not death. We don't want to speak guile. We don't want to have no guile. We want to be like the 144,000. We want to see like Daniel said, an Israelite indeed, on whom no guile. But how can we accomplish that? How can we accomplish that? James, chapter 3. You can pick it up at verse 1.
Verse 1, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that ye shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the shame is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body.
So again, we recognize that I'm up here and teaching and all. I know I'll be held to our standard, and to make sure what I'm speaking, I better be doing myself. No hypocrisy. And when you're serious about it, this is what you should. Hey, this is my life, because I understand it's true, and I understand I'm willing to die for it. I understand it brings grace to the hearers. And as we all didn't get what we rightfully deserve, he didn't punish us what we really should have got. We should be thankful and humble and realize, man, look how I failed. And look how he kept me. So I praise the Most High. And I recognize too though that we're talking about this time, and as we recognize, if you're able to bridle this whole body, you're bridle that tongue, and he told you you be a perfect man. And we see he's going to give details about small things that control big situations. Next verse.
Verse 3, behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which thou be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, wheresoever the governor listeth. Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boastful great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindle.
Wow, and that's so true, right? We just talking about again the little tongue when you speak in ill towards someone, that very individual can take their own life. They can kindle a great fire, or a little gossip, a little talebearer here. They can destroy somebody's reputation. Where now they in there trying to reveal something that wasn't so, but now in that man's eyes or in that individual eyes, even though they have a mindset that, oh yeah, but now that thought is always going to be in their head now. A lot of times you think about Michael Jackson. Naturally, you just think about, oh man, got caught up in this, he got caught up in that. Is that thought not going to be because why? It was introduced. It was planted to that mind. So we recognize that this tongue of ours, one of the smallest members, but oh, it can what? It can cause so much destruction. Next verse.
Verse 6, and the tongue is a fire, a whirl of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that is defiled the whole body. It defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell.
Again, what is the word? What is iniquity? What's that word iniquity?
Sin.
Sin. The word for sin. So our own tongue is say a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members. So this very tongue is set up for a world of iniquity. So that's why we recognize about if we able to contain it, that's why I say you can be a what? You can be a perfect man. But if you can't contain it, sin lies. And that's what we're going to continue to be. You're going to have guile. You're not going to stand on what's written because the man control that tongue. Next verse.
Verse 7, for every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of the things of the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
And that's something right there. Now, it tells us to, we don't want to speak no guile. We want to bring forth life. And then verse 8 says, but the tongue can no man can't tame. It is unruly evil, full of deadly poison. And this is where we're going to understand context. Because he's not being hypocritical here. We're just going to have to break it down and see exactly what he's saying. That he's absolutely right. No man can contain his tongue. No man can tame it. Next verse.
Verse 9. Therewith bless we Elohim, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of Elohim. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things are not so to be.
Man, ain't that something? We all, I was subject to it. We all made in the image of Elohim, the man here, and we see that these very ones we can curse out, and then, as in 1 John said, no man ever seen Elohim, but we ain't seen him. And the very person, the people that was made in his image, we do them, we say sorts of things evil towards them, and they made in the very image of Elohim, and we say we love Elohim. But these very ones you cursing, these are very ones that's made in the image of Elohim. Next verse.
Verse 11. Do a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. So
again, it got to be a change. Something got to give. It can't yield fresh and salt. And no man can tame his tongue. So now we want to see how can we tame his tongue. So we want to be one with no doubt. We want to be, as it said, like 144,000 that we saw with Nathaniel. We want to bring grace to the hearers. We don't want to tear down. We want to build up. Let's look at the tongue again. Let's look at James chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. James chapter 1, verse 26 and 27.
Verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious, and brideth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before Elohim and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and the widows in their afflictions, and to keep himself unspotted from the world.
So now we see here, if any man among you seem religious and bridle not his tongue, it says, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. This is the key thing we want to recognize here. Bridle not his tongue. When you tame anything, what's the first thing you got to do to it? You got to catch it. Right? You want to go tame that wolf. You want to go tame that elephant. As you see, anybody been to SeaWorld before? Right? See them big old beasts doing all sorts of stuff. You be like, oh my, look at that. They're flipping and telling they the man and doing all. Well, let me see that same individual who did that to them killer whales there. Let me go to the ocean and let me see you go do one of them whales like that. I guarantee it's not going to happen. What's the difference between those whales and the whales at SeaWorld? They got caught. They caught them. They brought them. That's what we got to do with this tongue. We got to capture it. For now, because we see James over here saying now you can't bridle the tongue, and then over here in James 3 saying nobody can tame it. Well, he absolutely right. Because first you got to be able to bridle it, and then understand who can tame this tongue. Who can tame it? So we recognize we want to bridle this tongue because we don't want our religion to be vain. We want pure, to walk upright, to visit the fatherless, the widows, keep myself unspotted from this filthy world. That's pure religion. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Genesis 1:3.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. And Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light.
So we recognize the words are powerful. The very word that Elohim created this whole universe, just by word. His word. When we know the word of Elohim is who? Yeshua. He's the creator of all things. 2 Corinthians 4:6.
Second Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. For Elohim, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in his hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Elohim in the face of Yeshua Mashiach.
This is the one who we able to understand why the 144,000 was able to be with one with no guile. This is the one who we want to be with us, where we able to have no guile, where he's able to enrich us, to walk uprightly, to be with no guile. For Elohim who commanded the light to shine out of darkness has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Elohim in the face of Yeshua HaMashiach. As we always want to be about. Let's get to the point where now we able to bridle this tongue. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 3, verse 7. Because in him, we can see the examples on when you're able to bridle that tongue now you're able to take it captive. Now you control it. It's not no longer being, we say unruly, being reckless, all word of iniquity coming out of it, cursing and doing all sorts of things. Now that you got it bridled, now that you able to see now, you control. And let's see, we know how this can come to play. Ecclesiastes 3:7.
Verse 7. A time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak.
So certain times it's a time to be quiet. You're able to bridle that tongue, you're going to be able to do that. Certain times you like, you always got to say, put their mouth on something. We like to call it diarrhea in the mouth. Right? That's somebody that can't bridle their what? Can't bridle that tongue. Proverbs 17:27-28.
Verse 27. He that hath knowledge spared his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit.
Yes.
Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding.
So the fool be quiet, he even counted as what? Wise. Man that understand how to spread that, he can be considered an excellent spirit right there. Psalms 39, verse 1.
Psalms 39, verse 1. The Psalms of David. I said, I would take heed to my ways, that I sin not with my tongue. I would keep my mouth with a bridle, while the wicked is before me.
Hallelujah. He recognized, I got to keep my tongue with a bridle. I got to bridle this tongue while the wicked is before me. Because it's so easy to get engaged in them conversations or get engaged in things that we shouldn't be getting engaged into. Man, we want to be one with no guile. So David recognized that. The son saying bridle this tongue. Isaiah 53, verse 7.
Verse 7. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shears is dumb. So he opened not his mouth.
Let's look at that in the Gospels, right in Luke 23, verse 8 and 9. Luke 23, verses 8 and 9.
Luke 23, verse 8. And when Herod saw Yeshua, he was exceedingly glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and he had hoped to have seen some miracles done by him. Verse 9. Then he questioned with him in many words, but he answered him nothing. Verse 10. And the chief priests...
No, stop there in verse 9. So it says that he answered him nothing. Herod, we know, was at that time there over that region in Galilee, and he desired, he kept asking, and Messiah didn't answer him a word. Even though he kept pressing, didn't answer him a word. Kind of like you saw with David, he said in the midst of the wickedness, he didn't even answer. And then at the same time when Pilate even said, he even marveled because he kept silence. And then he said, oh, you not got the power to set you free or crucify you? Then Messiah let him know, you had no power with me that was given from above. But the ones who had me to you, they'll get to the worst sin. So in all, we recognize it's going to be a heart issue. It's going to be a heart issue. And to come and close with this here, let's talk about the heart. Let's talk about how we can be without guile, and how we stay on the very oracles of Elohim, and then also bridle that tongue of ours, to put it in subjection when we're able to allow him to rule in us. Proverbs 4, verses 23 to 27.
Verse 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from thee a forward mouth and perversive lips. Put far from thee. Let thy eyes look right on, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil.
Hallelujah. So we gotta guard ourselves. We gotta understand out of the heart. He said, keep thy heart with all diligence, right? And he basically you wanna protect this as like you see a mother with a fragile baby. You wanna protect. You recognize that these things flow the issues of life. So he says, what? Put away from the froward mouth, perverse lips. Let the eyes look right on, and let not the eyelids look straight before thee. Basically, don't be sleeping. Recognize that. Don't take anything that goes contrary. It can be conversations. It can be movies you watch. It can be music you listening to. It can be all these things that can cause you to be a point of darkness. He's saying you got to keep yourself. You got to guard yourself against those things. It's that serious. And he said in Matthew 18 about if your eye calls you to sin, plug it out. If your ear and feet calls you, cut them off. Because take heed, take diligence of it. Oh man, don't take all that. Man, you just going over. Okay. I understand that he took a third of the angels. I understand he's very deceptive. So the only way I can stand, I got to stand on him. I got to stand on this rock right here. If not, I'm doomed. I'm going to follow any, what they say, wind of doctrine that comes away, anything just because you got a majority doing this here, or they got a nice this over here. We can eat this way with these eyes, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, all these factors come to be. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's right there. And now, just slowly move you on. So that's what we got to understand on that end about, we got to guard our hearts. Romans 10, verse 5.
Romans 10, verse 5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which doeth those things shall live by them. But the righteousness which is of the faith speaketh on the wise. Say not in thy heart, who shall ascend unto heaven? That is, to bring the Messiah down from above. Or who shall descend into the deep, that is, to bring the Messiah again from the dead? But what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith which we preach.
Okay, so we recognize that. And do you mind going up just on verse 4? I'm sorry, you look at verse 4. Come on, get this understanding right.
All right, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
For the Messiah is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
And this way you still alive to say, man, you know, we're done with that law. And again, we got to get this with understanding. And I heard people say, well, that doesn't mean he's the goal, he's the aim. That Greek word teleos. No, he's the end of the law for righteousness. He's the end of it. That's why I'm saying now the law is our schoolmaster to lead us to the Messiah, to show that we what? We are sinful, we need a Savior. Now, does that mean that we don't obey the law anymore? Because he's the end of the law for righteousness? Understanding what this says help with the understanding and growing you where we won't be misled about, again, all these, and then the doctrine coming away. Because what right here, Paul is quoting, we're going to read, he's quoting the very word of Elohim, the very oracles of Elohim, which we're going to call the law. The law is from Genesis to Revelation. All the law means is what Torah just means teachings, instructions, all Torah means. Its teachings is from Genesis to what? Revelation. This whole book we call the Bible is Torah. It's all his teachings. So we got to recognize that. Don't let people say over here, oh, man, you know, we don't got to do this, or now, you know, this whole, it's Torah. We've been taught a lot of things, we just picked it up, we just ran with it. Well, you know, the first 5 books is Torah, you know. What is that? What is that? All of it's Torah. All of it the word of who? The word of Elohim. So let's see what he was quoting. He go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Pick it up at verse.
Did you want to finish verse 10?
I'm sorry, yeah, finish verse 10.
Okay. Romans chapter 10.
But I'll say.
Okay.
We're going to come back to verse 10.
Okay,
I
come
want
back.
to see what he was quoting. Deuteronomy chapter 30. Pick it up at verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 11. For this commandment which I commanded thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Verse 13. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the seas for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it.
There it is. This is what Paul was quoting. He was quoting Deuteronomy 30. He said, it's not who to say to go there to bring what? Messiah down. We're going to cross over the hills to see. We're going to do these things here. Well, that very word is the Messiah. And that's why they said they're trying to establish their own righteousness. It's not there. Can you go to Deuteronomy 6? Since we're in Deuteronomy, you go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, can you read verse 25? Deuteronomy 6, 25.
Verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Elohim, before Yahuwah our Elohim, as he had commanded us.
Wow, that should be our righteousness if we what? Obey all these commands and statutes. Guess what? Ain't nobody do it. Only one person observed the law perfectly and then sin not one time. That was Yeshua. That's why I say it will be our righteousness if we observe all these commands. But that's why I say trying to set up their own righteousness. Guess what? That's why he's the end of the law. Why that? Because we all fail. Romans 3:23, where a lot of people quote those, for all have fallen short of the glory. For all have what? All have sinned. We all fell short. So that's why we need the Messiah. You can't go to the Most High and say, I kept all your law perfectly. I didn't offend at one point. Okay, you're going to be condemned. That law is there to show, okay, you said to me, you done this, you never broke that, you never broke that, you're going to see how, and just say, yeah, I never done that, I never done that. If you offend at one point, you guilty of wrong. So that's why we're not trying to establish our own righteousness. We need him for this very purpose. Now let's go back to bring it all together in verse 10. In Romans chapter 10, verse 10.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Elohim sent his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for the sin condemned sin in the flesh.
So on that, the law just showed, even though they received the law, they came from him, he gave his law, it was weak through the flesh. They couldn't obey it because they were still led by the flesh. That's why he said he sent his Son, that now his Son, through sinful flesh, may condemn it through the flesh. And now look at verse 4.
Verse 4. That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
That's how it's going to come down. It's him and us now doing the will. It's him that's walking and able to enable us when we keep his word and follow his ways. Because his flesh cannot do it. That's why Paul cried in Romans chapter 7, O wretched man that I am, who can deliver me from his what? Body of death. Oh, I thank Elohim for who? For Yeshua. Either one were able to do it. Either one able to tame his tongue. Either one able to give me the power to overcome this wicked world. No man can do it. No man can do it. So you want no gal, you want to walk upright, you got a BS 144,000, all of the Lamb, whithersoever you went. Have faith in him. Put your trust in him. And be able to do what? To order yourselves and follow his law, which is spirit.